Despite the obvious difficulties and restrictions with the COVID situation in Thailand at the moment, I'm actually enjoying life right now more than I've done for a very long time. There are various reasons for this. Firstly, it's because I'm spending a lot more time with my family, which I don't normally when the kids are at school and my wife is working. Secondly, it's because I don't have to get up at 5:30 in the morning to do the school run, which I really hate. And most significantly, it's because at the moment I don't have to drive anywhere. It's no coincidence that the time I started to dislike living in Thailand was the same time that I started to drive regularly. There's no regard for traffic signs, traffic lights, traffic laws. It's very inconsiderate, very dangerous, very confrontational, very aggressive, and this is why Thailand has the second most dangerous roads in the world. At every set of traffic lights, motorbikes blatantly go through red lights, and this isn't unknown for car drivers either. If other cars are waiting at the red lights already, that doesn't deter them. They just undertake in the emergency lane and then go straight through the red lights. As an Englishman, I have an innate sense of fairness, which many Thais just don't have. If there's a queue of cars waiting to do something, I'll join the queue and wait my turn. A lot of Thais won't do this. If there's a queue of cars waiting to do a U-turn, they won't join the queue, they just shoot up the outside and then cut in at the front. This really annoys me. And this doesn't just happen occasionally, it happens routinely. The police will pull over motorcyclists to check their paperwork and to give them fines for not wearing helmets. But outside of town, there's just no law enforcement and there's no real will to catch traffic offenders. As you can imagine, with this amount of lawlessness and anarchy on the roads, there will be accidents. And there are lots of them. This motorcyclist decided to turn out at the same time the truck was turning. The motorbike coming down the road didn't see the bike and it was very nearly an accident. The rider of this bike wasn't so lucky. And neither was this one. An ambulance had arrived to take the guy away on a stretcher and he looks in a really bad way. I should have sympathy for victims of these accidents, but I'm sorry, I don't. Considering the way they drive, they get what they deserve. I hate driving in Thailand so much that to get off the main roads and avoid the idiots, I will take back roads through the countryside as often as I can, even though the journey time is longer. However, going along these countryside roads, I noticed mountains of garbage everywhere. And then I started to realise why. Thais use these countryside roads just to dump their garbage. In the UK, it's called fly tipping and it's considered quite a serious crime. If fly tippers are caught, not only are they handed very big fines, but they can also have their vehicles confiscated. It's very common in Thailand and I feel sorry for the local municipality who periodically have to send out workers with a JCB to clear up the mess. But as soon as they've cleared up the mess, new garbage starts to appear immediately. พื้นที่ว่าง Hai Chau for rent. But what's the rent? If we take a step back, we shall see. This is the Red Planet Hotel in Hat Yai. When I first got to Hat Yai in 2003, I think it was called the New World Hotel. It went through a series of ownership changes and name changes and eventually became the Red Planet. And it was very successful with a lot of customers staying every week from Malaysia and Singapore mainly. And now it's closed. It just decided to close it and stop the business. And this is really indicative of how this COVID pandemic has absolutely devastated Hat Yai's tourist industry. It's August the 12th, 2021. Today is actually a public holiday. It's the Queen Mother's birthday. She's 89 today. And I'm doing another Hat Yai walk around. I did one earlier in the year, but the situation has changed considerably since then. Throughout 2020, Thailand was seen as being one of the most successful countries in combating COVID. But that will change at the start of 2021 when there was an outbreak at a fish market in Samut Sakhon near Bangkok. And since then, there have been more and more cases each day. And now it's being treated very, very seriously. There's a kind of lockdown in Hat Yai. There's a curfew that starts at 9 p.m. All shops selling non-essential goods are closed, so you can only buy essential goods like food and drugs. And it's a really strange place to be. The tourist industry that used to be here from Malaysia and Singapore sort of dried up last year, and now it's just completely devoid of any tourists. I had to come downtown last night to take my son to an ear clinic, and this site here quite shocked me. There used to be a very big building here, and a few years ago there was a fire, and after the fire they didn't make any effort to refurbish the building, and now I know why. They must have had plans to demolish it for a long time, and now the demolition has taken place. There's nothing here. I'm not quite sure what's going to go here next. The gold shops around the train station are still open, which is a bit surprising because gold isn't really an essential item. But I've been reading some predictions lately that the price of gold could really soar in the coming months. Just up here we have some motorbike taxi guys waiting, but I guess they're going to wait a long time for customers because there's just no one around here. Swaddy krab. Thai video ครับ วันนี้มีลูกค้าหรือยังครับ วันนี้ยังครับ ยังครับ วันละกี่คนครับ ประมาณ ไม่เคยดูตรงนี้ไม่ค่อยมีครับ ไม่เคยมี ทุกคนบอกเหมือนกัน โชคดีครับ Here are some Grab food delivery guys, and at the moment you can't eat in restaurants. You can only buy food to take away or get it delivered. So I imagine that these guys would be very busy at the moment. But I spoke to one the other day and he says he wasn't, and the reason for that is that Thais at the moment just haven't got the money to order food for delivery. There's no welfare system in Thailand, there's no unemployment benefit, and Thais aren't getting the furlough payments that Brits and Americans are getting. And a lot of people are really struggling. The government gave out some payments last year, I think 5,000 baht. 5,000 baht's not a lot, and people had to apply for these payments. And some of the people that really needed the money didn't get it, and there were some people who did get it who didn't need the money, and they were just sort of boasting on social media about what luxury items they bought with the money, which was really unfair. My wife's got a friend who she studied with at university. They studied art. My wife then went on to be a teacher, and this girl went to Phuket and opened the shop, and she was doing artwork for tourists and making quite a good living. And of course, the last 2 years she hasn't earned anything, and her parents still live in Hat Yai, and it's the sort of cultural thing here that children look after parents, but she just hasn't got enough money to take care of herself and her parents. So she phoned my wife up and asked my wife to help out. So my wife bought some rice and eggs and other essentials and took them over to her parents. So a lot of people are really struggling badly at the moment. For many Thais, winning the lottery is the only hope they have of getting enough money to live comfortably. This is the intersection of Tamnung Witi and Sanihanol Son. So turning left we go down to Lee Gardens Plaza, that used to be the epicenter of the tourist industry in Hat Yai, but has been dead for a couple of years. And along Tamnung Witi we've got all of the nighttime venues. So in this section you've got bars that used to be frequented by like the expat population, and further down you've got bars for the Thais. And left, this has all been repaved. I think there's a thing about walking streets in Thailand, and this is sort of Hat Yai's walking street. It looks like Starbucks is possibly open. I think Starbucks is open from 7 in the morning till 7 at night. It's being a food shop, it's allowed to open. And another essential shop, pharmacies, drugstores, so Watson's is open. But apart from the food shops and the other essential shops, everywhere is closed. And even though it's a public holiday today, there would normally be quite a few shops open. So we're going to get down into Lee Gardens Plaza, and it's the same story everywhere. The Grand Pink Hotel, it used to be the infamous Pink Lady, looks to be open, but probably not many customers. And here there's normally a shop on the corner selling big shrimps and other seafood. And down this way are some massage shops. They're for tourists, so there's no tourists, so they're all closed. And a bit further down is Yong Market. Well, the money change is opened. So sad to see, it really is. And probably a lot of people don't think of Hat Yai as a tourist destination, the same way that they think of Samui and Pattaya and Phuket and places like that. But it really is. And it's not a seasonal tourist industry, unlike those places. This is a year-round tourist industry, because Malaysians and Singaporeans come every week under normal circumstances. There's a 7-Eleven, and we've also had some, this one's closed, but the 7-Eleven near my house is open. There are now food shortages. My wife wanted a toasted sandwich last week, so I went to 7, but the shelves were completely empty. I went the next day and it was exactly the same, so I asked the staff, and they said at the moment they can't order any food because the factory in Bangkok is closed and not making any sandwiches. So I guess there's problems with COVID and a shortage of staff. Every shop has got closed shutters, and some places have just given up. Ran Wang Hat Yai, so this is another shop that's available to rent. When this is eventually over, I don't think Thailand will ever be the same as it was before. I think it's just hit people so hard that they just won't go back to doing what they were doing before. The shop over here doesn't look to be selling essential goods, but nonetheless it's open. Some pirated DVDs and CDs. Well, this gold shop is closed. A few people trying to sell things out on the street, but probably not having much success. Glasses and sunglasses, TV remotes. What's this one selling? Or more glasses and sunglasses. Genuine Ray-Bans, of course, for about 100 baht a pair. Closed shutters everywhere is the current story of Hat Yai. A lot of hotels and guest houses have closed, but some hotels are still open. It's a Diamond Plaza Hotel where I had my wedding reception in 2010. In fact, my anniversary is in a few days, so I better not forget that, otherwise I'll be in trouble with my wife. We're now approaching the famous Yong Market, so let's just have a quick look around here. And there are vendors out on the streets selling food and the garlands for merit making. Yeah. สวัสดีครับ
ครับเอาเลย
ช่วงนี้ขายดีไหมครับ
เงียบครับ
เงียบ
เงียบครับผมตลาดยังเงียบเลยครับ
ใช่ทุกที่เหมือนกัน
ทุกที่เหมือนกันหมด
Lotus flowers. It's mainly fruit that's sold on the street outside of Yong Market. Oh, it's durian season at the moment. My wife and kids eat durian, so they've been bringing lots in the house, and I just can't stand the smell of the stuff. And they like to tease me by eating it in front of me. Hello, Sawadee krab. อะไรนะครับ
sorry
พูด
ระวังรถ
ระวังรถใช่
ระวัง
ใช่
รถเดี๋ยวรถจะชน
ประเทศไทยอันตรายมาก
อันตรายมาก
อันดับที่2ในโลกรถชน
อุบัติเหตุใช่ไหมครั
ใช่
ครับผม
คนตายเยอะ
ใช่ใช่
He just wanted to warn me about the traffic, but there's no need. I'm very, very aware how dangerous the traffic is in Thailand. More lottery tickets. The lottery draw is on the 1st and 16th of each month, so another 4 days. All vegetables. Chicken. Let's just have a quick look inside Yong Market. And vegetables. Oh, there's quite a lot of activity inside. Seafood. Vegetables. On the cup. Although it's definitely not as busy as usual. This is the khao gang. This is the food they prepare in the morning. Put in big trays and serve for the rest of the day.
แม่ค้าสวยเอาเลย
Dried food, nuts and chocolate. All this stuff comes in from Malaysia, and I don't think any import duty is paid on it. It's why it's cheaper here than buying it in the department stores and shops. It's like a little rabbit warren in here, all these little lanes. Look shin. Yeah, definitely a lot quieter than usual. Thais don't see the lottery as purely luck. They believe there are ways to determine lucky winning lottery tickets. เลือกยังไงครับ
เลือกยังไง เลือกเลย1 ใบ
Okay. So my leg chok D.
หมายเลขโชคดี
Okay. อีก4 วัน
อ่ะ
Okay. Chok D ครับ Yeah. Hope you win.
1 ใบ
I just think it's a big waste of money buying lottery tickets. Thais don't think the same as me.
โอเคจ้ะขอโทษค่ะ
You know, according to my wife, someone's got to win. Yeah, she's right. The chances of that happening are very, very remote. Okay, it was a quick walk around the inside of Yong Market. This is what I was saying earlier about the empty shelves in 7-Eleven. It's every branch because of the problem with the factory in Bangkok. On these shelves there should be lots and lots of sandwiches, and it's just empty. What I can't give you, unfortunately, is my view of things. There's a mainstream narrative that's being pushed by government, and all of the social media platforms adhere to that narrative. And if you don't go along with the narrative, and I don't, they just close you down, so I can't say anything. But yeah, this virus will affect people, it will affect old people, it will affect people with underlying conditions. But is it really necessary to completely close down economies? This is going to financially devastate millions of people. There are going to be airlines that will close, big hotels, and the damage will last for years. So is it really necessary? And that's all I'm going to say. This is Starbucks in August 2021, Hat Yai. And when I'm walking around in Thailand, it's so hot that after an hour or two you just need to sit down, have a drink or a cup of coffee, and you can't even do that. So what you have to do is phone your order through and then come and pick it up here. You can't even sit down for a little drink and rest. One shop that I am quite glad to see open is this one. This is where I buy the film for my old film cameras. So I think I'll buy a roll of film, and if I get time, go out and do some shooting with old technology. The problem at the moment with the kids at home doing online learning, there's a lot more responsibility for parents, and I have to supervise my son all the time to make sure he's doing his studying and turning in his homework. So I'm quite enjoying being at home with the family at the moment, but it just means that I have very little free time to myself. Odeon department store is open, and this is typical of department stores that are open at the moment. Some are closed. And what we can see is that all the non-essential items are all roped off, so you can't buy anything that's non-essential. All the clothes here. So we'll go upstairs, and all that will be open is the supermarket. So here's the supermarket. This is the only part that's open because the goods here are essential. It's now time to go home, and once again I'd like to apologise to my regular viewers for the lack of content recently. There are two reasons for that. The first is that everywhere is closed at the moment. There's just nowhere interesting to go, nowhere interesting to show you. And secondly, with my children studying online, I have quite a lot to do at home, so I have very little free time. Anyway, thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll be able to put out another video fairly soon.